appraise that message and see if that message is in tune with the truth, because it has to do with the Igbo culture. So, disclaimer, this is not defamation of character. Rather, this is an appraisal of messages aimed at making sure that Omenana and Ordinary Igbo are well represented in their fairest form. So I'm going to play the message. Your job is to listen. Your job is to listen to the message.
Now, the rate and speed or total to buy in a Jiboka, Jia, 8 years in a glaros.
In Ania Neku,
Sinahan and Mumena. Igaro said, Mado, Iberichi, Goshi, Chona, Goshi, water, not Yabomena.
Are you hearing?
Omena, but can this she make no matter Konya has a Berichi? Even though there is a close relationship between religion and culture. Religion is not culture and culture is not religion, but they influence one another. Manoye na chiazo ne garos, especially as ne chiazo. Goshin no nya ne jeboka, chiazo je gobaros, no te ne ade momena. Uchie do kwani ho na eme. Makabe ihe kriyebi chiazo. And it is going back in every sense of the word. Ali bona lachi ziaza alachi. Kama inga gaire ni bona ina lachi azalachi. Makana anechi azane garoshia. Shimeta ni garoshi bayeni gwogu. Chini gwogu bayeni buman. All of them in the name of Kaime Henna Yemen. Or to talk an end day me ha, I water Mehamagi Henna Namem. Or to talk an end day me ha, Echeting, Nanda Nana, Mecheri or Meketeriha, Jireka Hewufutala. Wufutoge, Caramo Loka, Makuko, Como Hajendo Kajagra Kuko, Bule Melie Mekum Mega Water. Some people don't know cultural rose or mohe say biko uche uno don't know can akwụkwọ unu na-ejeketa maka na ọ bụrụ na anyị mara ihe unu mara mba ya unu anyị ama mbe ebe anyị nọ. So ndị a na-anachi azụ will first of all face the anger and wrath of their ancestors. Because it is a betrayal. Madu kwadori buzoki yeshigani. Ichieta azobianoro behind him, in spite of and after Abu Lokarushi. But the evil really in our society is increasing in a very terrible and terrifying way. Also, I have to say it. Natenda na koka, manehanda ga kaya wito doka, na kaya as wayo or as business. So that cause confusion thereby maybe good. Because so for Ewomeroka as business, here you are talking about patego. So all these things using religion as a means of making money, profit, and as business. Whether it is Christianity, Islam, or idol worship, is using religion as business or as a profit-making venture is evil. It destroys every society. and again onye na-achọ inweta uru ọ ga-ata gị akwụkwọ ya ị mara na uru ọ na-achọ bụ nke onye ọzọ dara akwụkwọ ya. Somebody says the good things you are enjoying now are the results of somebody's hard labor and suffering, either your own or some other person's.
Okay, ụmụnne ịnụla ozi ọma a? Ịnụla ya? Ịnụla ozi ọma a? Ịnụla ihe kwuru ebe a? Before ngaba n'iru ikwu okwu gbasara okwu a, ka mkpọkwakwa egwu a ngwala unu maka ya. Gee ntị na lyrics egwu a. Listen to the lyrics of this music. Okay, the music you just heard is a cover of Israel Anyanele's masterpiece. And the lyrics says, n'oge eruwo mgbe anyị kwesịrị ịbịa na mmazu nke eziokwu. The hour has come for us to come to the fullness of the knowledge of truth. And it will be very saddening at this era, in this age of Aquarius, that my respected senior brother, Bishop Onah, would still not know that we have come to the fullness of the knowledge of truth. That we are no longer children whom they could sway away with sweet words. Because we found out that even though they are our elders by age, that they were deceived by the colonial masters. For the fact that Bishop Onah is a Christian bishop, I am going to be speaking to him, citing the Bible. Respectfully, sir, Bishop Onah, your message telling people, going back to Omenana, that they should be careful because it is idol worship. I am going to use the Bible to show you, you and I, who is an idol worshiper. Remember, 2 Timothy 2 verse 15. It gave us a stern warning, according to the Bible, that we should study to show ourselves approved as a workman who needs not to be ashamed. Respectfully, sir, the Bible said in the book of John chapter 8 verse 32 that we shall know the truth and the truth shall set us free. My bishop, sir, and I asked the Bible, what is the truth? If the Bible is telling me to know the truth, and the truth will set me free, I now ask the Bible, what is the truth? And the Bible said something. I am using the Bible to interpret the Bible. According to Psalm 119, verses 141. Psalm 119, verses 151. I am going to read. Psalm 119, verses 151. The Bible said, you are near unto us, O God, for all your commandments are the truth. Now, I want us to solve a simple mathematical equation today. Thou shalt know the truth, and the truth shall set us free. Let it become equation 1. Thou shalt know the truth shall set us free. John 8:32 is now equation 1. You understand what I mean? Now, equation 2 will be that all the commandments of God is the truth. All the commandments of God is the truth. Equation 2, Psalm 119, verses 151. Now the question becomes, my bishop, sir, substitute equation 2 into equation 1. Do you know what we have? Thou shalt know the commandments, and the commandments shall set you free. Do anybody understand what I mean now? Equation 1 is John 8:32. Thou shalt know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And I asked the Bible, what then is that truth? And the Bible showed me that the truth is written in Psalm 119, verses 151, that all the commandments, not some, all the commandment, not some of the commandment, all the commandment is the truth. Psalm 119, verses 151, which means truth is equals to all the commandments. So anywhere I see truth, I can substitute truth with the commandments. So all the commandment is equal to truth. Now go back to equation 1. John chapter 8, verse 32. Thou shalt know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Substitute truth equals to all commandments. Do you know what the Bible will read in John 8:32? And thou shalt know all the commandments, and all the commandments shall set you free. Which means anywhere I see the commandments is the truth that they say we shall know. My bishop, sir, I don't know if I am making point yet, but you will learn something with due respect, sir. You see, the Bible is divided into segments. The law, the prophets, and the writings, Tanakh, Torah, Nabim, and the Ketubim. You see, the law, the prophet, and the writings are all the conglomerates of the Christian Bible. That is to say, the law law must coincide with the prophet, and the prophet must coincide with the writings. The trinity of these three is the completion of the word. My Lord Bishop, sir, but you said that those going back to Omenana are idol worshippers. Who is an idol worshipper? According to Exodus 20, verse 1, the Bible said, let me recite it in Igbo so it will make more sense. Chineke wee kwuo okwu ndị a niile si, mụ onwe m bụ Jehova bụ Chineke gị, onye mere ka isi na Egypt n'ụlọ ndị oru pụta. Nke mbụ, gị enwena chi ọzọ tinyere m. Nke mbụ, gị emenala onwe gị alụsị apịrị apị. Moderator, do your work today. I am not here to massage anybody's ego. That is to say, the Bible is saying, thou shalt make unto thyself no graven image. Hold on, no. Now, my bishop, sir, you said we are an idol worshipper. But right before you, in your neck, there is a chaplet. Respectfully, sir, get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. This is not a defamation of your character. This is an appraisal of your last statement. And in the neck is an image which was written against. In your parish, sir, is an image of the crucifix and the grotto of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Two images working against Exodus 20. Remember, sir, I said I am using the Bible to appraise your statement, sir, that we that are Omenana people are idol worshippers. I am not the one that wrote the Bible. Respectfully, sir, in Omenana, sir, nobody bows down to any graven image. It is not in our liturgy. Rather, we are working according to what your Bible said in Exodus 25, verses 18 and 22, where the Bible said, and thou shalt mold me 2 cherubims made of hammered gold, that upon this cherubim will the Almighty come down to commune with us. That is to say, n'ọnụ Igbo, na anyị ga-akpụli alụsị na-abụ eji ọla edo mee. No, n'enu alụsị a ka Chineke ya agbakwasị ọkpa wee gwa anyị okwu. But daddy, this is where I have problem. You called us idol worshippers. Have you read Exodus 25:18 and the 22? Secondly, daddy, do you know that in Omenana, nobody in Omenana bows down to Ogugu or Udo or Ekwensu? Any of the images, none. We don't bow down to none. Rather, we decree through them because we know that the Almighty is using them as a medium to commune with that. Not even our Ndiche, not even our Ikenga is worthy of our bowing down. We sit down on Ochembo, we pour libation, and we make declaration through them. We don't pray to them. We pray to Okike, using them as a medium through which we make our declaration. But on the contrary, sir, you bow down to the image. You worship them. You and I, who is now an idol worshiper. You see, the problem, sir, is you are someone I respect, if not for anything, for the age bracket. But I wouldn't allow you to ridicule this awakening, just like my own senior brother, very Cardinal Arinze, did in his book, where he rendered the concept of Eroago or Ago as madness. In the works of Cardinal Arinze pointed out that Ago is synonymous to madness, which is a mistranslation of the concept of Ago, because Ago is the consciousness of creativity, talent, skill set, technical know-how. You see, when people of dignity misinterpret the concept of our cosmology and their ontologies without understanding their epistemology, we render it laughable to the upcoming generation and the generations to come, placing respect due to the office you occupy. We use your word as though they are yardsticks of standard, not knowing that you really do not understand the concept of our indigenous cosmology. Respectfully, sir, I am saying that nobody in Onah Igbo in its entirety is actually an idol worshipper. Rather, you people, especially you, sir, with respect to the explanation I gave you now, is the one that is an idol worshipper. That is to say, na mmadụ ga-eji aka ya tụpụta godu nke dị ya n'anya wee chọba onye ọ ga-atụpụta. Now, remember, Psalm 119 verses 151 reminded us that all the commandments are truth. But sir, there is another point worthy of emulation. I told you that the Torah, the Nabim and the Ketubim, which is the law, the prophets and the writing, must all correlate together to drive a meaning. In the prophets, Prophet Yirmiyahu in the Tanakh in Hebrew, or Jeremiah in English, wrote something according to the Bible. That the Bible said, Jeremiah 6 verse 16, that we should look for the old paths and walk in it. For in the old path is the path of life. Psalm 119 verses 151 said that all the commandments of the Almighty is the truth, which means for me to know the truth, and the truth shall set me free, I have to follow the commandment word for word. But do you know where I got angry? I read Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 25, and the Bible said something that interested me. He said something that it shall be righteousness unto us when you acknowledge to do all these commandments, not some, but all. And one of that commandment is this, that we should mold cherubims too, made of hammered gold. This was the instruction he gave to Moses, his servant, directly. Bishop Onah, sir, are you now saying that we that have molded cherubim are now idol worshippers? We are keeping all the commandments, not some. Secondly, sir, we don't bow down to these graven images because we are using them as a medium. According to Exodus 25:18 and 22, that upon this medium, the ancestors, the Almighty will come down and speak to us. Now the question becomes, sir, are you saying that the Almighty, as recorded in the Bible, was confused when he told us that it is upon this Alosi that he will come down and speak to us? Because the Igbo transliteration of the word cherubim is simply but Alosi. Now, Bishop Onah, have you not read Exodus 25:18 and the 22? Or are you saying that Deuteronomy 6:25, which admonishes us that we should keep all the commandments, not some, is now lying? Respectfully, sir, we are studying to show ourselves approved as a workman who needs not to be ashamed. We are studying to show ourselves approved because Apostle Paul said we should test all spirits. We are testing all in truth to see which of the truth will set us free. If the commandment is the truth and we are keeping the commandment, why do you now render us as idol worshiper? I know you would say that it is recorded in the Old Testament. But if I ask you, sir, glory be to the Father, to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, your response would be, as it was in the beginning, it is now, ever shall it be, world without end. Which means the Almighty is unchangeable. His word remaineth the same forevermore. Are you now saying that the Almighty should be disobeyed? Respectfully, sir, in the writings, Job told us in the book of Job, chapter 8, verse 8, to go and ask our forefathers that they may teach us what they have learnt. For we are of yesterday, but we know nothing. For our life on earth is just a shadow. Sir, and I asked my forefathers to teach me what they have learnt. And they told me to go back to the ancient pantheons, which we knew before the arrival of the colonial invaders. To go back in the reverence of Ekwensu Orobala, Isinebu Ogidi. To go back to the reverence of Ijitose Udo. To go back to the reverence of Ogoliogutebu Ogugu. To go back to the reference of Akodi Ibuajana. To go back to the reference of Ijita Akuba Kwale. To go back to the reference of Ndakapo, the ancient ancestors. Are you saying that Job chapter 8 verse 8, which is part of the Tanakh, is lying? Respectfully, sir, I am working according to what the Bible says, that I shall go and ask my forefathers, and they will teach me what they have learned. Underline this statement. Go and ask your forefathers. The oldest time the church has spent in Nigeria is 188 years. That means, by the definition of the word forefathers, each generation is 100 years. By definition of forefathers, my forefathers are those who lived 400 years ago. They don't know Jesus. They don't know Jehovah. They don't know Yahweh. If I should ask them, they will tell me to follow Goliogute, to go back to Akodi, to go to Ekwensu, Because these are the pantheons they recognized. Now, Bishop Onah, respectfully, sir, are you saying that Job chapter 8 verse 8 is lying against you? Now the question becomes, sir, let God be truth and everybody a liar. Respectfully, sir. I was reading the book of Acts of Apostles chapter 24 verse 14. And Apostle Paul said, as for me, I will worship the gods of my ancestors. Bishop Onah, is Jesus the God of your ancestors? Why then are you telling the Igbo people who are returning back to their root that they are making mistake, whereas their forefathers told them? Respectfully, sir, I want to give you a citation. What happened in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 35. When prophet Jeremiah told the Rechabites, thus says the Lord, drink ye alcohol. And do you know what the Rechabite told Jeremiah? Even if the Lord like, let him come down from heaven with his hand. We are not going to drink alcohol because our forefathers told us that we are forbidden from taking alcohol. So if the Lord wants us to drink alcohol, he should wake up our forefathers to tell us otherwise. Bishop Onah, I am that Rechabite who is telling you today that unless you wake up our forefathers to tell me otherwise, I will not worship a foreign god unless it is that indigenous to my people. As I was reading Jeremiah 35, I was waiting for the Bible God to curse the Rechabite. But do you know the Bible God did not curse the Rechabite? He said, blessed shall the children of Rechab be, for they did not despise the word of their forefathers. Bishop Onah, I and my kind would not disobey the words of our forefathers. Even if you like, let that God come down from heaven. Unless he will wake up our forefathers to take away all these principles and their pantheons, then will I listen. Remember, sir, we are studying to show ourselves approved as a workman who needs not to be ashamed. 2 Timothy 2 verse 15. Bishop Onah, I am of the opinion that you sincerely did not understand that we are entering into a new constellation, which is the constellation of Aquarius, where knowledge will speak against belief. Respectfully, sir, the word believe means to accept that something is true without proof. This generation is done with belief. We are holding on to knowledge with objective, verifiable indicators. If the Rechabites can be blessed for disobeying the Bible God and holding on to their ancestors, are you saying I will be cursed? Remember, sir, I am using the Bible to checkmate the Bible. Jeremiah 35. When Jeremiah told them, thus says the Lord, drink ye alcohol. And they told Jeremiah, even if the Lord like, let him come down with his two legs. We are not going to disobey our forefather because our father Rechab told us never to drink alcohol or live in a house So if the Bible God wants us to do otherwise, he should go and wake up Rechab to give us a fresh instruction. This is me telling you, Bishop Onah. If you want me to follow a foreign pantheon, you should go and wake up. You should go and wake up. You should go and wake up. You should go and wake up and tell them to tell me otherwise, because I am sticking to their words. Respectfully, sir. Respectfully, sir. When Jeremiah 6 verse 16 said that we should search for the old path and walk in it, that old path is the path of life. So I thought it was a joke. But I've come to a frightening conclusion that the old path is actually the path of life. That once I walk in the old path, this is what the Bible said. I will read it in Igbo. Jeremiah isi nke isi, amaokwu nke iri na isi. Guzolulu okporo ụzọ nke mgbe ebighị ebi, jụọ ajụjụ ụzọ ndị nna nna gị faso, gaa ije n'ime ya na ị ga-enwe mmeri, n'ihi na ụzọ ahụ bụ ụzọ ndụ. Respectfully, sir, are you saying that the Bible, who asked me to walk in the path of my ancestors, are lying? But I'm going to read a verse for you, sir. I'm going to read a New Testament verse for you. Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 and 14. Do you know what the Bible says? He said that wider is that road that leads to destruction, but narrow is that road that leads to life. Wala wala ka ụzọ ahụ dị nke na-eduba na ndụ, obosara ka ọ dị ụzọ na-ebuka na mbibi. If you check, the number of those that are in the path of the ancestors are minute, because we are walking on a narrow road, a road filled with death. Because one mistake, aja na-etigbu. But wider is the road that leads to destruction. And that you are in that wider road. Because imilikiti ka akpọrọ, mone ka arọtara. Respectfully, sir, are you in the wide road or are you in the narrow road? It's obvious you are in the wide road. And the Matthew 7:13 is saying that this wide road will take you to the nation. But the narrow road, which is the road of your ancestors, will take you to life. But that is not the end of it, sir. That is not the end of it, sir. That is not the end of it, sir. You said we are idol worshippers. And I ask you, sir, the crucifix and the grotto, what are they? Are they not molded image? Are they also not idols? And the question becomes, sir, you and I, who is now the idol worshipper? I don't bow down to neither of the image. I can't bow down to Ogugu. Rather, I sit and commune to Ogugu. But you bow down to the crucifix, sir. You and I, who is an idol worshipper? Respectfully, sir, who is an idol worshipper? An idol worshipper is somebody who bows down to an image and who worships a pantheon alien to his people. All the pantheons you are worshiping came from a colonial invader. But all the pantheons at my shrine came from my ancestors. You and I, who is an idol worshipper? That is why I always say, Namubo blo kwa dika mpo soko. Oka makwa na amata akpa dibia. Dibia mara amama oka ive. I want to know, sir, you and I, who is an idol worshipper? Respectfully, sir, the book of John chapter 13 verse 7 said you will understand it later, not now. So most of the things I'm saying, you won't understand it now. But later, according to John 13 verse 7, you will begin to understand it. That I am actually the one in the narrow path leading to life. But you are actually the one in the large path leading to destruction. In the video, you said those returning back to their roots is the architect of evil. And I'm going to show you, sir, who is actually the architect of evil. Respectfully, sir, on the 18th of June, 1452, the Pope Nicholas, to be precise, signed a Dum Diveras commissioning slavery to be legal. You are the representative of Pope in Nigeria. Respectfully. And you are telling me that I am in the path of evil. But Pope Nicholas signed the Dum Diveras in 1452, making the enslaving of our people legal. And you are still his mouthpiece in Nigeria. You and I, who is the orchestrator of evil? Respectfully, sir. Respectfully. More than 60 million Africans, more than 60 million Africans lost their life or lost their territory, lost their family because of what the church commissioned. And the question becomes, you and I, respectfully, sir, who is buttressing evil? You are continuing the legacy of the colonial invaders who left religion as their means of neo-colonialism to keep us in the shackles of slavery. Because when they took away the shackles of chains, they bound us with the shackles of the mind. And the slaves begin to see their chains as jewelry. And you are continuing this empire who desecrated our holy land, that raped our women, molested our children, that destroyed our holy places, that dashed the head of our women, our pregnant women, that defied the offspring of our youth, that took away children, even though they are suckling in the breast of their mothers, into a journey of no return, that shipped them to several parts of the world. You, sir, is a representative of such empire here in Nigeria. You and I, who is a perpetuator of an unending level. Respectfully, sir. As na asokota eze anya, ebulu nkata n'isi gwi okwu, na yikwuala ọnụ. How could you say that omenana, which is teaching us equity and fairness, onye biri bie biri? How then do you turn and say there is a pact of evil? And you made mention of another thing. No onye mebe omenana, obidi igwogu. Let me also educate you on that concept of igwogu. Respectfully, sir. The word igwogu is from the verb gwo. The etymology is from the verb gwo. The word gwo means to mix. With due respect, sir, even you, Bishop Onah, na agwogu. How? Obunara ni wunu go flagyl na tetracycline, mobu paracetamol, na thimethamine, mobu metronidazole, na loperamide. You've mixed something. Igwo no. Respectfully, sir, if you've ever visited a pharmacy, igwo no. Do you know why, sir? Because the etymology of the word pharmacy is from the word pharmakia, which means to conjure witchcraft. That is why I said that the knowledge of etymology will set us apart. You said that omenana teaches us the pact of evil. But right here in Nigeria, there comes a time where onye Catholic ada no onye Anglican. Onye Anglican no onye Catholic or natadebo olili. Enye penance, enye opepia. Because there is no love. Even when Jesus says that the greatest commandment is love thy neighbor. But the church has sowed discord amongst our people, that we can no longer be in tune with each other. But sir, you had the effrontery to say that omenana is the pact of evil. But every modus operandi the church came with was to divide and conquer us, to sow discord amongst brethren. Because ever since the Igbo people became religious, we no longer have one voice. Things are no longer at ease. Respectfully, sir. Idalado. Idalado. Imagine when people in position of honor in the society could not represent the culture, the tradition, the customs of our people. And I am happy you said that religion is not culture, but all of them are working in pari passu. Now let me bring it closer to you, sir. Anything that does not promote cohesion amongst a people is actually evil. If we study the original etymology of the word religion, we discover that it came from the word religare, which means to bind, to control, or to enslave. And I ask you, sir, when Omenani Igbo was teaching us the precept of fairness and justice, what do you have to say? Are you comparing that to what Jesus said by himself in Matthew chapter 10 verse 34? That he didn't actually come for peace, but to put our heads together. Now, sir, a mother and a daughter cannot be at peace because they are not going in the same church. Someone is telling me that the binding means to reconnect. Ask the person, the enslaved, what does it mean again? Sir, ever since these invaders came to our land, Africa has become a laughing stock. Now the question becomes, sir, are you actually familiar with the Dom Diveras, the Papa Bull signed in 1452, June 18th, that made slavery legal? Which means, sir, my Lord Bishop, you are a representative of the slave master right here in Igbo land. What era demonstrandum? With due respect, sir, I have come to a frightening conclusion that the older people in your cadre have failed the Igbo customs, culture, and tradition, because your people of your nature has rendered our ordinana to nothingness by your incessant misinterpretation. Imagine a man as mighty as Cardinal Arinze saying that Agu is madness, and you, Bishop Onah, saying that Omenana is the part of idol worshiping and the evil. And I begin to ask you, sir, of what yardstick of standard are you measuring your moral decadence? Before the advent of the church, we had Anna, the earth deity, the goddess, who checkmates fairness and equity. Before the advent of the church, the Igbo man can keep his goods in the market and go back home, and nobody will steal from him. Before the advent of the church, we had Amadioha, the justice system that uses thunder to share boundaries if there is land dispute. And I ask, sir, since the advent of the church, how many land disputes have led to incessant death in the Igbo land? And I ask you, sir, this effort you are making to ridicule the customs and the tradition of your people, of what relevance? Remember I said, John 13 verse 7, you will understand it later. It might not make sense to you now. That the pantheons and the deities and the gods of our ancestors are the way, the truth, and the life. Respectfully, sir, we've studied the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, but you people know nothing about our customs and tradition, which means you are not an authority to discuss Omenana. Respectfully, sir, the totality of our culture, customs, tradition, precepts, ethics are a binding principle leading us to fairness, justice, and equity. Before the arrival of the church, Igbo is filled with love. We had a communal system where we make people who don't have to have. We had a concept we called Ogbenye. Do you know what is Ogbenye? Look at the etymology. Ogbe nenyem. The word Ogbe is street. The street giveth me. It is the street people that gives me. Ondogbe nenyem. We had Ogbenye who lived and thrived because we knew charity begins at home. We had a decree that said that you cannot go to the farmland and harvest all the produce because you must leave some for those who don't have farmland. Before the advent of religion, we had Amobia, which gave birth to towns like Amobia today, where we go back every sunset to pick a stranger and house them in our house. And they must stay 4 days before we ask them, where are you going to? Can you still do it now, sir? If I go out to sleep in the church, I will be arrested. But before the arrival of Christianity, we go out every sunset, and receive a total stranger and house them for 4 nights, feed them. These are the things you termed evil. With due respect, sir, when will you apologize for your statement? When will you apologize for your statement? When will you apologize for your statement that you failed woefully, that you misrepresented our culture? It is not of he that willeth, neither of he that runneth, but unto our ancestors that we show thee mercy. With due respect, sir, I have come to a frightening conclusion that your generation are hell-bent on ridiculing the core values of Onah and Onah. Everything we hold sacred. But do you know why I don't pick offense much? Because I understood the 4H era. Ogaka, Ogachi, Ogamu, and Ogazi. And I knew that your generation was born in Ogazi. And your generation is born in the constellation of lawlessness, zero knowledge. And you people who grew up in this constellation of unlawfulness will never be able to represent the core values of our ancestors. And that is why, as we are transiting into Ugamu, the constellation of Aquarius, we will begin to dismantle your misinterpretations, your misrepresentation, to break protocols of propinquity, to destroy every stereotype, to rewrite every wrong will you people instituted na Igbo. And I begin to ask, sir, why have you decided to be a vessel of dishonor to Onah Igbo? Because I know there are vessels unto honor and vessels unto dishonor. Are you backing for the colonial masters who put the leech on your neck? Why, sir? Unu ni na mulu no gas evolu ntutu taa. Si na unu ye wele ete na mbọ mee ka ife agali oseme omenala Igbo. Na-ajụ unu luo ole mgbe ka nsọpụrụ m ga-awọ ihe eti n'ọnọdụ ifele n'ihi na unu na-ahụ ihe efu n'anya ma na-achọkwa okwu ụwa. I speak to you in the words of Psalm 1 of your Christian Bible. Onye ihe na-agara nke ọma ka mmadụ ahụ bụ nke na-ejeghị ije na ndụmọdụ ndị na-emebi iwu. Blessed is the man who walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. Nke na-anọghịkwa n'ọnọdụ ndị na-akwa emo. And you look at us striving so hard to walk not in the counsel of the ungodly, and all you could do is to label us evil. Why have you chosen to be a vessel unto dishonor? We the youth have studied to show ourselves approved, respectfully, as a vessel, as a workman who needs not to be ashamed. And I ask you, sir, are you looking at us as the evil of the society? You said Omenana is the bedrock of evil, but you didn't say the atrocities the church has been committing. Instead of you to speak to the government, you are looking for a scapegoat to take your blame because the church cannot speak truth to the people in power. Because all of you are governing our mentality. And I ask you, sir, why have you chosen to be a vessel unto dishonor, misinterpreting and misrepresenting the issues of our customs and tradition? Na ikwu na ejebe etete na ejebe ikwu. Why then will you do this? You see, I love what you said. He said the speed at which people are awakening. May I remind you, sir, this age of Aquarius will last at least 1,000 years. The speed never even starts. In the words of Ajofyane, we said, every hidden lies will be upturned. Every mysteries will be upturned. And the children born in this Ogazi will take back the horn of our salvation. We grab the mantle of leadership. We own the beacon of awakening. And tell your age, Nunu bukwo kenye na akpa na njọ unu nọ n'ụlọ ewu omenala anyị na-amụ n'ọgbụlị unu na-akpọrọ ndị chọọsị ana na-eme ka ọgbụlị famadola anyị ya bebe ka ọ ya lere anyị. I have come to a frightening conclusion that your yardstick of measurement is from the lenses of the colonial invaders, whom you are their representative here. But it's quite obvious that for everything, there is a law of diminishing return. Religion has come to its climax. It has gotten to its critical temperature. It is cracking. It must disintegrate. The hour has come for us to come to the fullness of the knowledge of truth. Nobody born of a woman can stop the awakening, regardless of the position you occupy. be those in government power, be those at the apex of the church, none of you can stop the awakening. Quad era demonstranum. May we seek knowledge now that is still time. Dota akon uche gị. Juke no onwe gị ajụjụ. Okwu a m kwuru ekwutere m ya. This generation don't believe, because the word believe means to accept that something is true without proof. This generation are knowledgeable. We study to show ourselves approved. This generation is not here to massage your ego. This generation is here to question every colonial lies that has been nurtured over the years. This generation is here to say that Rome and Israel is not holier than Milin Jabba, that the river Galilee and the river Jordan and river Bethsaida is not holier than Abana Besun or Mambala, is not holier than Olase, is not holier than Orashi, is not holier than Obuide, is not holier than Idemili, is not holier than Njaba, is not holier than Nkese. We are here to reverse the psychology. We are here to break the cognitive dissonance. We are here through diligence, importunate and perseverance, in sheer resilience, to challenge every colonial boundaries. This generation has come to stay. So, sir, do not be a vessel unto dishonor. Go back to your drawing board and you ask yourself this question: to what end shall we perpetuate this latchkey and delinquency that have rendered our land null and void? May we not lose ourselves in search of ourselves. Sir, you have proven to me that to whom religion is given, critical thinking and common sense is always taken from. But this generation are no longer believers. We are questioning everything, just opposing truth, to know which we outlive each other. And we are at the climax because the constellation of Aquarius is giving us every tools we need to challenge these colonial lies, to break away from this matrix of neocolonialism. It is high time we started telling the region, pack and go. The aftermath of this religion began to ridicule our indigenous pantheons, singing songs that will reduce them to nothing. Ekwensuki heremegi. We are going to do better to exalt Ekwensu to his actual position as the greatest war pantheon alongside the Ujito Sebudo and their derivatives, Eshu, Agemo, to reiterate that Ekwensu is still the same Yahweh that you all have been paying reverence to, unbeknownst to you. That we must begin to push through our own narrative. The time has come when the lion will tell the story of his encounter with the hunter, because the hunter has been telling his own side of the story. oge erugo mgbe anyị ga-abịa na mmazụ nke eziokwu. The hour has come. So, my respected elder, Bishop Onah, go inside, digest this message, digest this appraisal, and see to it that you mend your ways before your time on earth elapses, so that the ancestors will welcome you with open hands, so that their chastisement will not be severe, because your lives have represented our culture wrongly. Respectfully. In this same hand, I am sending a message in lieu of extension to our very Cardinal Arinze, that he may try in this lifetime to correct that assertion which he made, that Iruagu is synonymous to Made Yala, that Agu is synonymous to madness. I pray thee, O ye elders, to go back to the drawing board, reassess your work. Ọ bụ n'ọlụ anyị ka a ga-echeta, n'ihi na anyị bụ ndị mbụ na ndị egede. Mgbe anyị akacha zee, kedu ibe anyị na ndị aka akwụ ya eje na ijite na mbụ baje emekwu na ive agali ose. Ọ bụ na ọ ga-ekwe mee sunaga n'azụ, jụọ onwe gị sị, egwu nwanna agba agbatakwala m ya. Ka Chukwu pụrụ ime ihe niile nye gị ntụziaka ị ga-eji gị okwu nwa ga-etie ive ọma ka ọ wee baalụ gị ulu. Ebe nwa ka ozi ọma m ji abịa n'isi njedebe. Deje nna m.